My name is Olivia Bennett, and at 32 years old, I never imagined spending Thanksgiving alone in my apartment while my family gathered without me. The text from my mother came 3 days before the holiday. "We think it's best you don't join us this year. Not until you apologize to your sister." I stared at my phone, the words blurring as tears filled my eyes. 10 years of hosting Thanksgiving dinners in my home, and suddenly I was uninvited from my own family tradition. All because I refused to apologize for something I didn't do. Before I continue my story, if you've ever felt excluded by the people who should love you most, make sure to subscribe to hear the rest of this journey. Trust me, what I did next changed everything. The evening before Thanksgiving, while scrolling through social media, I saw it, my sister Megan's post, "So grateful for tomorrow's family dinner. All the people who truly matter will be there." She had tagged everyone, my parents, our brother, cousins, even my ex-boyfriend Derek, everyone except me. 27 likes. 3 heart reactions. 1 from my mother. I closed my laptop and paced my living room, the rejection cutting deeper than I'd expected. This wasn't just about missing turkey and stuffing. This was about my family choosing sides without hearing mine. What my family didn't realize was that for years, I'd been the invisible support system behind their comfortable lives. My success in finance had allowed me to quietly help them all. I managed our family's shared Netflix, Hulu, and Disney Plus accounts. I paid for my parents' cell phone plan since they retired. I'd even set up the autopay for my sister's monthly gym membership and subscription boxes as a birthday gift 2 years ago when she complained about being broke. I'd done it all quietly, never expecting recognition or thanks. That's what family does, right? But as I sat alone in my apartment, the gravity of my situation became clear. In my family's eyes, I had become disposable, appreciated for what I provided but not for who I was. They had no problem cutting me out while still benefiting from my generosity. Looking at my banking app, a strange calm washed over me. 25 automatic payments scheduled for the next 30 days. 25 little threads connecting me to the people who had just excluded me from their table. With 3 glasses of Cabernet fueling my courage, I made a decision. If I wasn't family enough to deserve a place at Thanksgiving dinner, perhaps I wasn't family enough to keep supporting their digital lives. My finger hovered over the first cancellation button, my parents' premium cable package. The one my dad used to watch his sports and my mom her reality shows. I thought back to last Christmas when I'd mentioned being passed over for promotion. My mother had barely looked up from her phone. "Well, honey, maybe you're just not assertive enough." Meanwhile, my sister's new job at a boutique was celebrated with champagne and congratulatory posts. Click. Next came the family cell phone plan. 4 lines, all paid from my account. The plan I'd suggested when my parents complained about their fixed income not covering rising phone costs. "Just let me handle it," I'd said. "One less thing for you to worry about." Click. My sister's gym membership, the one she'd bragged about on Instagram just last week with the caption, "Self-care isn't selfish." #bless the same sister who had apparently convinced my family I needed to apologize to her. Click. One by one, I methodically canceled every subscription, ended every autopay, and removed myself from every shared account. Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, Spotify Family Plan, Apple Cloud Storage, Amazon Prime, grocery delivery services, magazine subscriptions, the works. By midnight, I had severed 25 digital connections to my family. I didn't delete the accounts, no, that would alert them immediately. I simply removed my payment methods. The notifications would come gradually, one missed payment at a time. As I canceled the last subscription, the annual renewal for my parents' virus protection software, I felt no triumph, only a hollow ache. This wasn't revenge, it was self-preservation. A boundary finally drawn after years of being taken for granted. I put my phone away and crawled into bed, unsure if I'd done something I'd regret or finally stood up for myself. Either way, Thanksgiving would come and go without me. The next morning, I woke to another text, this one from my brother Alex. "They're all waiting for you to cave, Liv. You know how mom gets when she thinks she's right." I didn't respond. Instead, I bought groceries and prepared a small Thanksgiving meal for myself. As I placed my turkey breast in the oven, my phone buzzed again. "My mother, we're about to eat. There's still time to do the right thing." The right thing? What about hearing my side? What about the 5 years of receipts showing my sister had been skimming money from our parents' accounts, the very thing she'd accused me of doing? I silenced my phone and poured myself a glass of wine. By the time I sat down to my solitary meal, 3 more texts had arrived. I ignored them all. The first notification would hit tomorrow, my parents' streaming services. By next week, the cell phone bill would go unpaid. By the end of the month, 25 different services would send reminders, warnings, and eventually cancellation notices. 25 missed notifications for the family who missed having me at their table but never missed the support I provided. As I ate my dinner, a strange text arrived from a number I didn't recognize. "I know what Megan did. I have proof. Meet me tomorrow." Attached was a photo of a bank statement, my parents' account, with highlighted transactions and my sister's signature. My heart raced as I realized who it was, my parents' financial advisor, the one who had given me concerned looks at their anniversary party last month. For the first time in days, I felt a spark of hope. Perhaps the truth would come out without my engineered financial wake-up call. Or perhaps both would happen simultaneously, creating the perfect storm. Either way, tomorrow would bring the first missed notification. And I wouldn't be answering any calls asking why the Netflix account suddenly showed payment method declined. I went to bed that night with one thought circling in my mind. Sometimes being the bigger person means walking away, and sometimes it means quietly removing yourself from the equation to see who notices your absence beyond what you provide. The financial advisor's text changed everything. Now I had to decide, forward the proof to my family or meet this potential ally first. As I drifted to sleep, my phone buzzed one final time. A text from my father. "The Wi-Fi is acting up. Can you call your mother and walk her through fixing it?" Even in my exile, I was still expected to provide technical support. The irony wasn't lost on me. Tomorrow, the notifications would begin. Tomorrow, I would meet with someone who might help clear my name. And tomorrow, my family would start to understand exactly what my absence truly meant. But tonight, I slept better than I had in years, the weight of constant giving without receiving finally lifted from my shoulders. 25 cancellations. 25 boundaries newly drawn. The uninvited daughter was finally taking back her power, one canceled subscription at a time. I woke up on Black Friday to 17 missed calls. My finger hovered over the notifications before I swiped them away. Today wasn't about damage control, it was about meeting the one person who might help restore my reputation. But first, I allowed myself to savor the small ping of satisfaction when I saw the email, "Your Netflix subscription has been canceled due to payment failure." The first domino had fallen. As I dressed for my meeting with the financial advisor, memories of my childhood flooded back, specifically, how my relationship with my family had always been transactional. Growing up as the middle child between Megan and Alex, I had learned early that love in the Bennett household came with conditions. My father, Richard, a successful insurance executive, measured affection in achievements. My mother, Eleanor, a former beauty queen turned social climber, calculated it in appearances. Megan, 3 years older and infinitely more charismatic, had always been my mother's favorite. With her perfect hair and curated social media presence, she embodied everything my mother valued. Alex, 5 years younger, was my father's pride, the son who would inherit the metaphorical kingdom. And me? I was the reliable one. The fixer. The one who helped with homework, gave rides without complaint, and eventually, the one who paid the bills. My first memory of this dynamic was my 10th birthday. While Megan had received a lavish party for her 10th, mine was a quiet family dinner. "We're saving for Alex's private school tuition," my mother had explained. "You understand, don't you, Olivia? You're our practical girl." I did understand. I was practical. Dependable. The one who would make sacrifices without complaint. This pattern continued through high school. When Megan needed money for cheerleading camp, I gave up my art class tuition. When Alex needed a new computer for coding classes, I worked extra shifts at the local grocery store to help pay for it. "Family takes care of family," my father would say, patting my shoulder. But the care, it seemed, only flowed in certain directions. College brought temporary freedom. My scholarships and part-time jobs meant financial independence, and I thrived away from the Bennett family hierarchy. I graduated with honors in finance, secured a position at a prestigious firm, and built a life that was entirely my own. Or so I thought. It began innocently enough. My parents called with concerns about their retirement portfolio during the market downturn of 2018. "Just look it over, Olivia. You're the expert." One consultation became weekly financial meetings. Soon, I was managing their investments, optimizing their tax returns, and setting up their online banking. My evenings and weekends became consumed with spreadsheets and financial planning, all unpaid, of course. Family doesn't charge family. Then came Megan's divorce in 2020. Suddenly, my sister needed help with her credit score, her apartment deposit, her legal fees. "Just until I get back on my feet," she promised. 3 years later, I was still subsidizing her lifestyle. Even Alex, now a successful software engineer, routinely asked me to review his contracts and manage his investment portfolio. "Nobody does it better than you, Liv," he'd say, conveniently forgetting how these quick reviews consumed entire Sundays. The tipping point came 6 weeks ago. My parents called a family meeting to discuss updating their will. I arrived to find Megan had already been there for hours, tax documents spread across the dining table. "We're thinking of adding Megan as a co-signer to our accounts," my father announced. "Since she's helping manage our day-to-day expenses." The statement hit like a physical blow. I had been managing their finances for years without recognition, and now Megan, who had never shown interest in their financial well-being, was being given official access. "That's interesting," I managed. "I thought I was handling your finances." My mother waved dismissively. "Oh, you help with the big picture stuff, but Megan is here every day. She sees what we really need." What they didn't know was that I had noticed discrepancies in their accounts for months. Small withdrawals, unusual purchases, transfers to accounts I didn't recognize. I had been quietly investigating, comparing statements, tracking patterns. That very morning, before the family meeting, I had compiled evidence suggesting someone was systematically siphoning funds from my parents' accounts. The transactions all seemed to coincide with days Megan visited. I took a deep breath. Before you do that, I think we should review your recent bank statements. There are some unusual transactions. Megan's teacup clattered against its saucer. Are you accusing me of something? I didn't mention you, I said carefully. I'm just saying. She's saying I'm stealing, Megan announced, turning to our parents with tears already forming. After everything I do for you both, your precious Olivia thinks I'm a thief. What followed was chaos. My mother comforting Megan. My father demanding I apologize. Alex awkwardly suggesting we all calm down. And me, standing there with a folder of evidence I wasn't allowed to present. Either you apologize to your sister right now, my mother demanded, or you can leave. I looked at the family I had supported for years, financially, emotionally, practically, and made my choice. I have nothing to apologize for, I said quietly, gathering my things. And I think you'll regret not hearing me out. As I drove away, my phone buzzed with a text from my father. Your mother is very disappointed in you. The irony wasn't lost on me. I had spent my adult life preventing disappointments for them, paying bills, managing accounts, solving problems. But the one time I needed them to listen, to consider that perhaps their golden child wasn't so golden, I was the disappointment. Over the next few weeks, the Cold War escalated. Megan told extended family I had accused her of elder abuse. My mother called daily, each conversation ending with, "We're just waiting for your apology." My father sent terse texts about family loyalty. Only Alex maintained neutrality, caught between warring factions as he had been since childhood. Through it all, I continued paying for their digital lives. The streaming services they binge-watched. The phone plans they used to criticize me. The subscription boxes that brought Megan monthly joy. Until Thanksgiving. Until the uninvite. Until I decided enough was enough. Now, as I drove to meet the financial advisor, I wondered what evidence he had. My phone buzzed again, my mother, likely discovering the first canceled service. I silenced it without checking. The coffee shop was quiet for Black Friday. I spotted him immediately, James Parker, my parents' financial advisor for 15 years. He was older than I remembered, his hair now more salt than pepper. "Ms. Bennett," he said, standing as I approached. "Thank you for meeting me. You have proof?" I asked, skipping pleasantries. He nodded, opening a leather portfolio. "I've been concerned for some time. Your parents' spending patterns changed about 18 months ago. Small withdrawals at first, then larger ones. Always just below the threshold that would trigger fraud alerts." He pushed several bank statements toward me, transactions highlighted in yellow. "Your sister became a regular visitor to the bank around the same time. Always with signed withdrawal slips. Always with a story about errands for your parents." My stomach tightened as I reviewed the documents. Nearly $47,000 over 18 months. Small enough increments to stay under the radar, large enough to significantly impact my parents' retirement security. "The signatures," I murmured, comparing withdrawal slips. James nodded grimly. "They don't match your parents' signature cards on file. They match sample signatures I requested from your sister for updated documentation last month. Why are you showing me this? Why not go directly to my parents?" He sighed, suddenly looking his age. "I tried. 3 times. Each time, your sister was somehow present. Each time, your mother dismissed my concerns before I could fully explain." The pieces clicked into place. And my father? Doesn't handle the day-to-day banking. Your mother shields him from financial details, says it stresses his heart. I sat back, processing this information. So Megan manipulated this situation to make me look like the villain when I started noticing discrepancies. It appears so, James said quietly. And I'm technically violating several policies by meeting you like this. But I've known your parents for 15 years. I can't watch this continue. As I stared at the evidence, my phone lit up with a text from Alex. Mom's freaking out about Netflix and Hulu. Says you need to fix it ASAP. No mention of the uninvite. No acknowledgement of their treatment. Just the expectation that I would jump to solve their problems. Another text followed immediately. Also, her phone is saying something about service interruption? Can you call her? Not on her cell, obviously. I showed James the messages, a bitter laugh escaping me. They've banned me from Thanksgiving until I apologize to the person stealing from them, but I'm still expected to provide technical support. He nodded sympathetically. What will you do? The weight of the decision pressed on me. I had evidence now, real, concrete proof of Megan's betrayal. I could forward everything to my parents, force them to confront the truth. But would they believe documentation over their favorite daughter? Would they apologize for how they treated me? Or would they find a way to rationalize Megan's actions while condemning mine? I need time to think, I finally said, gathering the documents. May I keep these? Copies only, James replied. The originals stay secure. And Ms. Bennett? Whatever you decide, I suggest acting quickly. Your sister has recently asked about accessing your parents' investment accounts. As I left the coffee shop, my phone buzzed continuously. Texts from my mother about technical difficulties. Calls from my father's number, likely my mother using his phone since hers wasn't working. A single message from Megan, fix whatever you did. Now. No pleases. No recognition of their treatment of me. Just demands. I drove home in silence, the evidence of Megan's theft heavy in my bag. 23 more services would be disrupted over the coming days. 23 more reminders that relationships should be reciprocal. As I pulled into my apartment complex, a final text arrived from Alex. Thanksgiving leftovers at my place tonight? Just you and me. We should talk. For the first time in weeks, I felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe one family relationship could be salvaged. Maybe Alex would be the ally I needed. Or maybe he was just the designated negotiator, sent to bring the family tech support back into the fold. Either way, the truth about Megan was no longer just my suspicion. It was documented fact. And as the first day of missed notifications rippled through my family, I knew the real storm was yet to come. I had evidence of theft in one hand and the power of disruption in the other. The question now was which would make my family finally see the truth, and whether any relationship could survive once that truth was revealed. By Sunday morning, the digital dominoes were falling faster than I'd anticipated. My parents' cell service had been suspended. Their premium cable package had gone dark during my father's beloved football game. The grocery delivery service had canceled their standing order. My inbox contained 27 messages from family members. My voicemail was full. The family group chat, which had excluded me for weeks, had suddenly added me back with a flurry of demands. Emergency family meeting. 2 p.m. Mom and Dad's house. My brother's text came with no explanation needed. The technical apocalypse I'd engineered was fully underway. I hadn't decided whether to attend when another text arrived from Alex. I have something you need to see. Come early. 1:30. The dinner at Alex's apartment 2 nights ago had been surprisingly honest. After showing him the evidence from James, my younger brother had admitted to his own suspicions about Megan. She's always had these shopping bags but complains about being broke, he'd confessed over reheated turkey. And last month, she somehow paid cash for a week in Cancun while telling Mom she needed help with her electric bill. Now, as I pulled into my parents' driveway at precisely 1:28 p.m., I wondered what new information Alex had uncovered. I found him waiting on the front porch, nervously checking his watch. "They're not home yet," he explained, leading me inside with a key. Mom dragged Dad to the phone store to fix whatever Olivia broke. "We have about 20 minutes. The house felt strange, simultaneously familiar and foreign. Family photos lined the hallway, chronologically displaying our growth. I noticed, with a pang, how Megan featured prominently in nearly every frame. Alex appeared in many. I was primary in exactly 3. "Here," Alex said, leading me to our father's study. He unlocked the bottom drawer of the antique desk, a space traditionally off-limits to children, and removed a folder labeled medical, private. "I found this while helping Dad organize his insurance documents last week," Alex explained, his voice low. "I wasn't going to look, but after what you showed me." Inside was a medical diagnosis dated 8 months ago. Stage 2 pancreatic cancer. Treatment options. Survival rates. Financial considerations. My father had cancer. And none of us had been told. As Alex and I drove away, my phone buzzed with a text from my father, "We need to talk. All of us. Properly. When you're ready." It wasn't an apology. It wasn't even an acknowledgement of wrongdoing. But it was a door left slightly open. The digital dominoes had fallen. The uncomfortable truths were exposed. Now came the hardest part, deciding what kind of relationship, if any, I wanted with my family going forward. 2 weeks later, I sat in my therapist's office, working through the aftermath of what had happened. "You've set boundaries," Dr. Miller observed. "How does that feel?" I considered the question carefully. Like breathing for the first time in years. But also, lonely. She nodded. "That's normal. Boundaries often feel lonely at first, especially when people are used to having unlimited access to you." "My father's been texting daily updates about his cancer treatments," I shared. "Not asking for anything, just keeping me informed. It's the first time he's communicated without wanting something." "And your mother?" "Radio silence," I admitted. Though Alex says she's been asking questions about my work, my apartment, things she never showed interest in before. "And Megan?" I smiled ruefully. She sent a 12-paragraph email oscillating between apologies and accusations. Classic Megan. I haven't responded. "What about the services?" Dr. Miller asked. "Have you reinstated any beyond the cell phones?" "Just their home internet last week. Dad needs it to research his treatment options." I shrugged. "The rest can stay cancelled. It's not about punishment anymore, it's about recalibrating our relationship." And that was the truth. The satisfaction of revenge had faded quickly, replaced by a calm determination to build something healthier, whether with my family or without them. 3 days after that therapy session, I received an unexpected text from my mother. "Your father would like you to join us for dinner this Sunday." Just the 4 of us. No Megan. I stared at the message, feeling the weight of the choice before me. I could decline, maintaining the distance that now protected me. Or I could cautiously step toward this tentative olive branch, knowing it might be withdrawn at any moment. Before I could decide, another text arrived. I should have listened to you from the beginning. I'm sorry, Olivia. 8 words. From my mother, who had never apologized to anyone in her life. 8 words that couldn't erase years of favoritism and dismissal, but perhaps could begin a different chapter. I typed my response carefully. I'll be there at 6. I'm bringing dessert. As I set down my phone, I realized the irony. For years, I had paid my family's digital bills, hoping to buy their appreciation. In the end, it was canceling those same services that finally made them see me, not as the reliable provider, but as a daughter who deserved respect. Sometimes, cutting connections is the only way to rebuild them properly. That Sunday dinner would be the first test of whether my family could truly change, or whether old patterns would reassert themselves. I had no illusions of perfect resolution or fairy tale forgiveness. Real families don't work that way. But I did have something new, the knowledge that I could walk away again if needed. That my worth wasn't determined by what I provided. That love, real love, doesn't require payment plans or auto-pay schedules. I picked up my phone one last time, opening Instagram to see a rare post from my father, a simple photo of an empty dinner table set for 4, with the caption, "Looking forward to Sunday." Family is what matters most. No mentions. No tags. Just a quiet acknowledgement that something had been missing, and perhaps, just perhaps, could be found again. As I closed the app, I smiled at the notification that appeared. Your subscription to Netflix has been reactivated. My father had figured out how to restart it himself, a small but meaningful sign that he was finally taking responsibility rather than relying on me to fix everything. 25 notifications had taught my family what my words never could. And whatever happened next, I would face it not as the family fixer, but as Olivia Bennett, a woman who finally understood her own worth. Have you ever had to create boundaries with family members who took you for granted? Share your story in the comments.